Hello everyone, Waffle here. Welcome back to another video. Today I will be making my first keyboard. Well, not really. Let me tell you about my failed attempt. It all started when I was able to purchase my first gaming keyboard back in 2017 with my own money. I bought a Logitech G213 membrane keyboard. Great keyboard, by the way. A few years later, my good friend Flex Crafting gifted me a custom keyboard for my birthday. The keyboard had brown switches with yellow and white keycaps and a custom escape key with my logo on it. I loved it. I began watching videos and found a lot that interested me more in the hobby of customizing keyboards. I wanted to make my own, even with little to no knowledge. I went to a store nearby and found one at a great price. The Atrix keyboard from GameStop, a mechanical keyboard with brown switches. I was certain that I would be able to customize this keyboard to exactly how I wanted it and save money. I thought I would be able to swap the switches without soldering, but when I started to work on it, I realized this keyboard could not be modified because I didn't know how to solder. Later that week, I did more research and came up with a new plan. I gave the old keyboard to my brother and found exactly what I wanted this time. All I had to do now was wait. Now that you know my relationship to keyboards in the past, let's move on to the build. The final piece that I needed arrived. The keyboard was the last thing that shipped in. Now I had all the pieces and I was ready to mod the keyboard. First, the heart and the soul of the build, the base. I used the LTC Nimbleback keyboard, which is a 65%. It came with the option between reds, browns, or blues for the switches. I chose the reds because I might want to use them for a future build. It has a 4-button cluster on the far right of the board, which is not very common, but I'm a pretty big fan of the look. The box came with a user manual, 4 extra red switches, If there's one thing that really changes the look of a keyboard, it has to be the keycaps. I used the Hitami yellow keycap set off of Amazon because they are a great budget option and match my YouTube channel's theme. The only downside would have to be the light bleeding on the yellow keycaps. For the switches, I chose the lavender purples by Echo. Not sponsored, but they are super budget and sound amazing stock, but when lubed sounds incredible, especially for that price tag. You can pick them up on Amazon for around $14 for a 45 pack and come in an ice box as well. I highly recommend picking one of their switches for your next build. For the stabs, I used the Asceni's plate mounted stabilizers off of Amazon. I lubed them with dielectric grease. I removed the white keycaps, red switches, and old stabs and put on the new stabs, stock lavender purples, and put on the custom keycaps. This is how it sounds. I got the stock test done, so now we can move on to the final build. I took the whole thing apart and put weights from my winning derby car on the keyboard so it feels more premium, and I guess you could say it's more lucky. I also taped it down so the tiny weights wouldn't bounce around on the inside. I took apart all of the lavender switches with a knife and cut myself on accident many times, all because I bought the wrong item. Then I lubed them and put them back together. I used 7 drops of GPL 105 lube for the springs and dielectric grease for literally everything else.